If your morning blood sugar keeps surprising you, the real problem often is not dinner at all. It is the long stretch between midnight and sunrise, when your body is still working, your stress hormones remain active, and your liver keeps releasing glucose while you sleep. That is the part many people never really address. Night after night, they keep looking for one perfect bedtime drink, one special tea, one best cup to fix everything, and then they feel disappointed when that one thing barely moves the needle. In real life, high morning readings usually come from a pattern, not a single missing ingredient. And stay with me, because there is one simple 8-second bedtime step that makes even a good drink work better in real life. I am not going to reveal the whole thing yet, but I will show you where most people quietly undo the benefits, without even noticing. I'm Dr. Thomas Bennett. This is educational, not personal medical advice, but it will help you make smarter, more disciplined evening choices, and build a routine that works with your body, instead of against it. And there is one more reason this matters. In diabetes care, better blood sugar control and better blood pressure control matter over time for kidney health too. So this is not only about a better number tomorrow morning, it is also about reducing strain on the body, in a way that matters far more than most people realize. Let me start with Margaret. She was 66, tired, frustrated, and convinced that bedtime drinks simply did not work. For more than 2 years, she had tried them one at a time. Chamomile for a while, warm almond milk for a while, cinnamon tea after hearing someone praise it, then something else, then back to chamomile again. She was always trying, but never really following a plan. Her morning fasting number still hovered around 225, and her A1C was 8.6. She said to me, "I feel like I'm always doing something, but nothing really sticks." That is exactly where many people get trapped. They are not building a bedtime system. They are collecting bedtime tips. And tips, by themselves, do not create stable mornings. So instead of telling Margaret to find one perfect drink and stick with it, I taught her to rotate 6 different bedtime drinks through the week. Not because all 6 are magical, not because more is always better, but because each one fits a different nighttime problem. One calms the nervous system. One supports a simple, low-sugar routine. One fits nights when blood pressure is part of the concern. One works well when sweet cravings are the real danger. One helps create rhythm. And once she stopped improvising every night, her mornings started becoming less chaotic for the first time. And one more thing I tell patients in the office all the time. No bedtime drink fully outruns a very sugary late snack, a skipped medication plan, or a bedtime that changes wildly from one night to the next. These drinks work best when they sit inside a routine that is already moving in the right direction. That is why I like rotation so much. It gives people structure without making bedtime feel rigid, complicated, or punishing, and it builds real-life consistency. Most people do the opposite. They try one drink for a few weeks, see little change, and move on. Then they try another, and eventually decide bedtime drinks were overhyped. But each drink usually addresses only one part of the problem. That is why a weekly rotation works better than chasing one hero drink. Margaret got it right away, once I explained it that way. Chamomile for stress and sleep. Almond milk for a plain, unsweetened option. Turmeric milk for a steady ritual. Hibiscus for blood pressure awareness. Cinnamon tea for sweet craving nights. A calming herbal tea for evenings, when worry is the real issue. Once she saw the drinks as tools, not promises, the routine finally felt doable. Before we get into the drinks, let me give you one practical habit you should use tonight. If you buy any packaged version of these drinks, check added sugars first, sodium next. If blood pressure matters for you, then the ingredient list. Many healthy drinks are really sweet drinks, wearing a wellness label. Trust the label every time. Now, instead of walking through 6 drinks in one flat line, I want to make this easier to remember. Think of them in 3 groups. Group 1 is for calm and sleep support. Group 2 is for a simple, low-sugar bedtime routine. Group 3 is for habit support and blood pressure awareness. Once you organize them that way, it stops sounding like 6 random ideas and starts feeling like one clear system. Group 1 is your calm-down group. Chamomile tea and a calming herbal tea, such as passion flower. Chamomile tea matters because sleep is not separate from blood sugar. If you fall asleep late, wake up at 2 in the morning, lie there worrying, and never really settle back down, your body is not having a quiet night. It stays more activated than you think, and that makes morning readings harder to manage. Chamomile helps people settle into sleep more easily, and stay asleep more consistently, and recover more completely overnight, which is exactly why it earns a place here. The simplest way to use it is 1 chamomile tea bag, or about 1 teaspoon of dried chamomile flowers, in hot water, covered for about 5 minutes, around 30 minutes before bed. Keep it plain. The purpose is calm, not dessert. The second drink in this same group is a calming herbal option like passion flower tea. I do not think of it as a blood sugar treatment. I think of it as a support tool for people whose real problem is tension, worry, or mental overactivity. Sometimes the body is not asking for food. It is asking for a softer landing, and when that is the issue, the right calming drink makes it easier to stop spiraling and settle down for the night. Steep it for about 10 minutes, keep it unsweetened, and let the job of the drink stay simple. A calmer evening. That alone helps more than most people expect. And if stress is what usually wrecks your night, comment stress below. One word. That is a very honest place to start. Now let's move to group 2, the simple, low-sugar routine group. This is where warm, unsweetened almond milk and turmeric milk belong. Warm almond milk looks almost too plain to matter, which is why people often overlook it. But plain is sometimes what works best. Unsweetened almond milk fits a lower sugar bedtime routine, and magnesium helps regulate blood glucose and blood pressure. More than anything, it gives you a simple option that is easier on the body than a sweet drink or a late-night snack, without stirring the night unnecessarily. Warm about 8 ounces, keep it unsweetened, and if you want a little flavor, a light pinch of cinnamon is enough. The power of this drink is not excitement. The power is that it gives you something easy to repeat on ordinary nights. Turmeric milk belongs in the same group because it gives people another warm, low-sugar ritual. Turmeric has been studied for anti-inflammatory effects, and I do not oversell it. It fits nicely into a calmer bedtime routine. Some people do better, not because one ingredient is dramatic, but because their evening becomes less reactive and less impulsive. A simple version is 8 ounces of warm milk, or an unsweetened plant drink, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, and a small pinch of black pepper. Nothing fancy, nothing overloaded, just a bedtime ritual you will realistically repeat. Now here is the hinge point of the entire video, so do not miss it. These drinks are not lowering blood sugar by magic. They are lowering chaos and restoring order. That is why some people say a bedtime drink worked, while other people say the same drink did nothing. If you keep the same scrolling, the same stress, the same late snack, and the same random bedtime, even a smart drink becomes a weak tool. The drink matters, but the night around it matters more. And before we go into the final group, here is a preview of that 8-second step. The biggest mistake is not choosing the wrong drink. It is drinking the right thing in the wrong state. If your bigger nighttime issue is hunger, routine, or the habit of needing something before bed, comment hunger. Again, just one word. It helps because it forces you to be honest about what you are actually trying to solve. Now group 3, habit support and blood pressure awareness. This is where hibiscus tea and cinnamon tea fit best. Hibiscus tea is useful because many people with diabetes are also dealing with blood pressure. Research shows hibiscus supports a small reduction in blood pressure in some people. Small, supportive, not dramatic. Still, it moves the night in the right direction. But if you want a bedtime routine that fits both blood sugar awareness and blood pressure awareness, hibiscus makes sense. As one of the tools in the weekly rotation, use 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried hibiscus in hot water and steep it for about 5 to 10 minutes. Drink it warm or cooled, whichever you prefer. The real value is that it gives you a purposeful evening choice that does not pull you toward sweet drinks at the end of the night. Then there is cinnamon tea. This is the drink people most often want to turn into a miracle, and that is where I want you to stay grounded. Cinnamon has mixed but interesting evidence around blood sugar support. I still like it here, for a practical reason. It replaces the urge for something sweet at the exact time many people make their worst evening decision. Use about 1 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon in hot water, steep it for around 10 minutes, then strain if needed. Again, keep it simple. If you turn it into a sweet treat, you have defeated the point. And if late sweet cravings are the part that keeps pulling you off track, comment "sweet cravings" below. One phrase. That gives you a much better starting point than pretending the problem is always blood sugar, in some general sense. Now let me show you how this works as a real weekly system. Monday is chamomile. Tuesday is warm almond milk. Wednesday is turmeric milk. Thursday is hibiscus tea. Friday is cinnamon tea. Saturday is your calming herbal option. Sunday is your choice based on what fit you best, what your body responded to well, and what still fits your overall care plan. The schedule itself is simple on purpose. You are trying to remove decision fatigue, not create another complicated health project. That brings me to William. He was 70, had lived with type 2 diabetes for 9 years, and was deeply skeptical. He told me bedtime drinks were basically comfort habits, nothing more. He had tried one here and there, never on a real schedule, never with any consistency, and his morning fasting number stayed around 225. He had already decided the whole idea was mostly hype. What changed for William was not one special ingredient. It was structure. He put the weekly rotation on his refrigerator, stopped making random decisions at night, and followed the plan. Over time, his evenings felt less chaotic, his sleep felt steadier, and his mornings felt more predictable. That matters deeply. Predictability is one of the most undervalued gifts in diabetes care. When mornings stop feeling like a surprise attack, people feel less helpless, and that usually improves consistency everywhere else too. This is also where I want to make the kidney angle clear. I am not saying tea protects the kidneys by itself. What I am saying is that when a bedtime routine helps you avoid sugary late-night drinks, supports steadier blood sugar, and fits better blood pressure awareness, it reinforces the bigger habits that matter for kidney health over time, day after day. So the benefit is not in one cup. It is in the routine. That cup helps you build. Now let me give you the second step I promised. Before the first sip of any bedtime drink, do one slow 8-second exhale. That is it. One long, unhurried breath out. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Put the phone down before bed. Why does that matter? Because it changes the state you bring into the drink. It turns the drink into a signal that the day is ending. It interrupts the stress loop. It helps stop the strange habit of drinking something calming while still behaving like the day is in full emergency mode. This is the part many people miss. They pick the right drink, but they pair it with the wrong state. And that is why the drink feels underwhelming. A few cautions, because I want this to stay practical. If you have chronic kidney disease, reflux, frequent nighttime urination, fluid restrictions, potassium concerns, or medicines with known interactions involving herbs or supplements, talk with your clinician before making major routine changes. And always read the label carefully. So here is the real takeaway. Stop asking, which bedtime drink is the best? Ask, what is my real nighttime problem? Stress, hunger, sweet cravings, broken sleep, blood pressure awareness. Because once you answer that honestly, the right drink becomes much easier to choose, and the weekly rotation finally starts to make sense. And tonight, do not just watch this and move on. Pick 2 drinks. Assign them to 2 nights this week. Put them where you will clearly see them. Then use the 8-second exhale before the first sip. That gives you something real to do tonight, not someday. And in the comments, tell me which one is most true for you tonight. Stress, hunger, or sweet cravings. One answer is enough. Then share this with someone your age, a friend, a parent, or anyone who keeps waking up discouraged by their morning number. Sometimes what helps most is not another warning. It is a calmer, clearer routine that finally feels doable and sustainable. Answer that honestly, the right drink becomes much easier to choose, and the weekly rotation finally starts to make sense. And tonight, do not just watch this and move on. Pick 2 drinks. Assign them to 2 nights this week. Put them where you will clearly see them. Then use the Second, exhale. Before the first sip. That gives you something real to do tonight, not someday. And in the comments, tell me which one is most true for you tonight. Stress, hunger, or sweet cravings. One answer is enough. Then share this with someone your age, a friend, a parent, or anyone who keeps waking up discouraged by their morning number. Sometimes what helps most is not another warning. It is a calmer, clearer routine that finally feels doable and sustainable.